Hello everyone, it's me, the White Schnauzer, and we are back with another video. Today's video is a reaction video, as you can see, right? We'll be doing a reaction video to Yellow Flash, and he is covering some more 40K news. I've been paying attention to a lot of things happening, even more so now, especially if I want to cover it here on the channel, and we'll try to push out more videos, probably. Right, today I probably even upload like 2 videos, so uh, be prepared for that. Right, probably even Saturday I'll probably do even another double upload for that as well. So today's video is about the CFO. She's stepping down apparently, and she's stepping down, but also she sold her stocks as well. She sold what worth a million, right? She sold for like 1 million, if I'm not wrong, or possibly, but it's probably around a million for sure. Right? Not I'm gonna take a guess. It's not even exactly 1 million, but I've heard from one of my friends talking about. It's like, oh, right, because he's pretty deep into Warhammer as well, and he's been kind of upset with what's happening with Warhammer recently. So very tragic, as one would say. Very tragic. It also, just to briefly talk about this, uh, it reminds me like it reminds me because I'm a huge Mobile Suit Gundam fan, right? It reminds me of that, right? There was no boycott, for example. There was no boycott that happened. It's just people stopped watching Witch from Mercury. They stopped watching it. I stopped watching it because I was like, yeah, I kind of don't care for it, right? And I already kind of had an idea how it was gonna end. It was like, and it ended the way I expected, right? They ended the way I expected, and I was like, and there was action, but it was not the action that I was expecting. So I'm like, yeah, they're targeting this new audience of people, and it reminds me, what is that one saying? You try to you try to make something for everyone, and you make it for no one, right? Isn't that the saying? That's what they did for Witch for Mercury. They try to make it for all of us, right? End up making it for nobody, right? Because they pissed off the leftists, and they pissed off the original fans of Gundam. Because the original Gundam fans were like, it doesn't even have the things that I enjoy Gundam for. End it. Right? Doesn't even have that stuff. You show a glimpse of it, but you can't because you don't want to piss off the leftists too much because you're like, it's too dark, it's not fun enough, right? And quite naturally, they pissed them off with the two characters not being canon lesbian, right? Up to interpretation, so they're pretty upset about that. I They were really upset about that. They were really upset about it not being. Right, it was up to interpretation of what you think their relationship was, right? But right, if we compare it to this situation, right, like with Mobile Suit Gundam, they're only there for that in particular anime, and only for that one, right? They're gonna buy that one Gundam, right? They're gonna buy Ariel, right? After that, do you think any of these people are gonna actually watch any of the previous Gundam shows afterwards? Probably not. The only ones they'll probably watch, arguably, if I'm gonna keep it a buck, right? Keep it a whole 50 with you right now. The only one I see them watching is literally Seed and Seed Destiny. Other than that, I don't see them watching any of the other ones. The other ones are like really dark for the most part. They're not gonna watch Thunderbolt. They're not gonna watch IBO. They're gonna cry watching. And even then, they're not gonna like the main characters either. But if we compare that to what's happening with you 40K fans, right? They're gonna be here for this 40K game. They're gonna be like, oh, it's inclusive. It's trying to include me. They're gonna love this game, right? Do you think they're actually gonna play any of the other previous games? Do you think they're actually? They may play Dark Tide, right? Right, but even further than that, do you think they're gonna play any of those games? Wait, oh, let's go even further than that. Do you think they're gonna play any of the Inquisitor? Do you think they're gonna play any of those games? Chaos Bane? Do you think they're gonna play that too? Do you think they're gonna? Do you think they're gonna dive into the lore for your games, or even the lore in general for 40K? Do you think they're gonna do any of those things? Probably not, because they don't care about those things. They only care if there's an agenda being pushed in it, right? That's the only thing they care about, which is very tragic because and that's why I believe in gatekeeping your hobbies because that's the only thing you have. Right? It's the only thing we have, and if your hobbies are being ruined, well, guess what? It's not going to be as fun as it was before. So then you're gonna not enjoy it, and they're gonna try to go find something else that is trying to target you. Which hence why a lot of studios from overseas are trying to target people like us because the Western studios and entertainment industry, game studios, and any of them, right? They're not trying to target you anymore, right? They hate you, right? They hate you because you are not inclusive. You're not for diversity. You're not for any of that, right? Let's get into the video. We talked a little too much there. I'm sorry, right? But we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it. We have to talk about it, right? Get into it.
Didn't think there was going to be a lot of Warhammer news today, but it turns out there is. Got some information on the CFO, which is kind of telling. A lot of stock's been dumped. What does she see that no one else is seeing? But as you know, the community right now is in some turmoil. A lot of fan sites jumping right on the mainstream bandwagon, as you can see from BOS. Talked about this yesterday. They put this article out. There's a real article. Warhammer 40K, only bigots hate female custodies. Then there was this gem I saw today. This is another fan site, I'm guessing. War Gamer. They dropped this article 10 months ago, just showing you that there's been a problem with this community for a while. Saying, I'll play Warhammer 40K when the 721 folks can feel safe in it. And then there's this piece of news. Games work
like, so, you know what's so funny about that in particular, right? You think about the universe itself. You think of the 40K universe, how dark and gory and dangerous, and how like what the despair the humans feel in that universe. Technically, right? If we're keeping a whole back here as well. Technically, no one's safe here. Hey, technically, no one is safe in this universe because everyone's out to kill humanity. Right? Literally, all the Chaos Gods are literally here to kill you, and they kind of thrive off of you because they were created because of you, because of everything you were doing, right? You created them, and they're here to kill you, and without you, well, they kind of will cease to exist, right? And they'll have no purpose because they kind of are here because you exist, and without humanity, they kind of don't exist either. So, quite naturally, they're here to kill you until that happens, right? It's a very dark world, so technically no one's safe, right? If you really think about it.
Workshop CFO sells 2/3 of her shares amid growing Warhammer boycott. Now this is pretty significant. Yeah. Almost $1 million in stock. It came to, Rachel Tung, the CFO of Games Workshop, that's Chief Financial Officer, sold 2/3 of her stake in the company worth approximately $865,000 as hobbyists have begun canceling their Warhammer Plus subscriptions and have indicated they will boycott the company.
Yeah.
So this is pretty big. She's also stepping.
It's pretty big. Yeah. Oh, you just said it. Right? She's stepping down. Right. I feel like she's just trying to get out of Dodge. Right. I mean, she's just like, yeah, I want to get out of this before it gets really bad. And yeah, like,
down.
It is what it
There's
is.
another thing that I should point out here. She's leaving the company. Not sure why or what's going on there, but the dumping of the stock, I think itself is pretty significant. We've seen this before, like with Disney. Not Kevin Feige, Bob Iger dumped most of his stock. You know, what's he see? He's not leaving the company though, but him and a lot of people on the board dumped their stock. I wonder who else is going to dump their stock from Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Almost like they're expecting big problems in the future.
Yep.
So this isn't the sign of a healthy company when you have people on the board dumping their shit. Why she's leaving, I don't know, but pretty telling. That
it's pretty telling.
Just because you leave doesn't mean you got to dump your stock, right? You don't have to sell it. You can keep it.
Yeah,
but she's like, I don't want any of that shit. Get it out of here. Almost $1 million worth of stock gone. So I think this is pretty significant. You've got this boycott going on. You've got a lot of people in the community mad. A lot of tourists coming in, trying to demand changes, praising changes, people that aren't going to support this or buy this.
Yeah.
It's telling when a company would rather please the tourist than people that dump significant amounts of money into the company. Because as I've discussed before and with other people that play these things, building a Warhammer army is not cheap.
Yeah.
It is quite costly.
Yeah, that stuff is
having
not
an
cheap.
income.
Yeah, it's just like with the model kits, right? Right, from like Gunpla kits, right? You can get the entry ones are kind of cheap, right? The entry one, and there's only like a few of them, right? Then you got the high grades, which are around like $25, right? Some of them are going to be $30, and then some of them are going to be like $40 to $50, right? Depending on how popular that one is, right? If it's a really popular one and a lot of people love that one, quite naturally, it's going to cost a little bit more, but that's kind of the way. The high grade is kind of the more affordable range and still really nice kits, right? Still dope looking Gunpla sets, right? It's when you start to go even higher than that, right? You got master grade, you got ultra grade, and then you got, I'm pretty sure there's even more higher grade versions of those, which those now, we're talking hundreds. We're talking about hundreds of dollars now, right? And then if you're buying pre-made ones, right, custom build ones, those get expensive too, right? And even if you make them yourselves, they're pretty expensive because sometimes you need multiple parts in order, like, and you have to get multiple parts from other Gunpla sets in order to make this one, which it's kind of costly and it's pretty expensive over time, especially if you build up your collection, right? I have a few of my own here, mostly high grades. I only have one master grade, and I haven't even built it yet. And it's because I'm preparing to actually make it myself over time, but eventually we'll get to it, right? Eventually.
is kind of important if you want to be a Warhammer player.
Yep.
You have to buy these armies. You also have to invest time in them.
Yeah.
You've got to buy product and spend time. So money and time, two of the biggest commodities that people have. And a lot of these people that are praising this shit will never sit down and build and paint an army.
Very tragic. Very tragic. Man.
Here's what they're saying here. A lot of this is information that we've already gone over, but this is what I want to talk about right here. Since this retcon,
if I wasn't like a huge like Gunpla fan and had a lot of those and have a decent amount of model kits of my own, I probably would invest into 40K armies, but I already have one hobby where I'm doing that. I'm not going to choose another one. That's going to be too much. Right, it's going to be too much. I already have one hobby where I'm doing that. I can't do multiple.
And subsequent gaslighting, numerous Warhammer players, hobbyists, and enthusiasts have announced they have canceled their Warhammer Plus subscriptions and will boycott Games Workshop going forward.
Oof.
Amid this controversy and boycott, the Business Desk reports that Tung reduced her stake in the Nottingham-based company by 2/3 after the share sale at an average price of 94.893 euros per share. Not only does Tung's sale come amid a boycott, but it comes months after it was revealed in the company's half-year report that she resigned from the company back in the yearly report in January, 23 through 24 half-yearly report. She's still there now. She's leaving in September. Also, after 27 years with the group and 9 years on the board, Rachel Tung has informed the board that she does not propose to offer herself for re-election as Chief Financial Officer at the next AGM in September 2024. Rachel will continue her role working as an integral part of the team to ensure a smooth transfer of responsibilities to her successor. Rachel is amazing and she will be missed enormously.
But if I'm
It was
not wrong,
added Rachel stepped down.
yeah, she's not leaving immediately, right? Did I miss that? I'm pretty sure she didn't. They didn't say it yet, right? I'm pretty sure she's not leaving immediately.
From the board at the 2020.
I'm pretty sure at a certain date she will leave, most likely.
Before AGM and will leave the group in January 2025.
Oh, okay.
And will be commencing a search for her successor immediately.
Okay.
Game Workshop's stock price has declined nearly 5% since the beginning of the year. However, it's up nearly 142.81% over the last 5 years. Since 2007, the stock price has increased nearly by 2,000%. What do you think of Tung sharing 2/3 of her shares in the midst of, I think, selling 2/3? I think that's a typo, but so that is what's going on. That's the latest, and it's interesting. So you've got somebody that's been on the board for a long time leaving. I wonder, are there disagreements here between her and some of the other people saying, hey, I'm looking at this and I'm not liking what we're seeing in the community. I think we're going down a wrong path. And they're saying, oh no.
Yeah.
We like what's going on here. Maybe you need to go.
Maybe that's what's happening. Who knows? Right? There's just a bit of disagreement on the way that they should be going, and they're disagreeing with her, and they're probably like, yeah, like, no. Right? Just not okay with it.
We'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Unless one of them goes rogue and comes out and leaks shit, but I'm going to guess we'll never know the real reasoning. And I think it's interesting that the chief financial officer is pretty much saying, I'm out, dumping everything, and getting the hell out of Dodge. So we'll see what happens, but it's not looking good for Games Workshop. I can tell you that. Yeah. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this? I'd like to hear from you in the.
Yeah. Yeah, that's quite something. Yeah. That's a lot to take in still. I'd like to hear you guys' opinions and comments. Like, what do you think? What do you really think happened? What do you really think happened? Like, what do you really think happened, and why do you think she's leaving? Like I said, I think she's leaving before it gets any worse. Right? It could be the situation that possibly happened, where there was disagreement amongst her and her colleagues, and she's just like, yeah, okay, I'll just leave then, because clearly it's not going the way I like it, and I'm just gonna leave before it gets any worse. Right? That will conclude today's video. We'll probably do another reaction very soon after this, right? Kind of to catch up after last week's absence. So yeah, leave a like, share a video, right? Leave a comment. I'd like to hear you guys' opinions in the comic. Go check out Yellow Flash if you haven't. Right, he does videos like this all the time, just like Clownfish and all of them. Right, and yeah, stay good, stay safe, have a good day, have a good evening, good night, later.